Because of the situation around here, most of the time you spend a lot of money in your restaurant furniture and equipment, and you tend to use them over time, and most of the time they get bad or they depreciate, and you run around to raise money again to replace those equipment. But the good news now is that you can actually get the money you use in buying or purchasing any equipment at all back. And I'm going to teach you how to go straight to achieve that in this video every single month. It doesn't matter the kind of equipment you use, it doesn't matter your size, it doesn't matter the concept you operate on, ranging from your kitchen equipment, your frontline equipment, your dispatch vehicle, is it a building, the furniture, name it, anything equipment that you purchase for your restaurant, you can actually get the money back, so that should any of them go bad or any of them depreciate, you'll be able to go straight to the account where you've kept the money for specifically equipment of your restaurant, and then pull whatever amount of money you need and then replace those equipment. And if you don't do this at this time, I am sorry, you may continuously be replacing your equipment with a little profit you're supposed to use to either take care of your family or take care of your business in terms of expanding your business. You keep using them to replace equipment. So I think it's something very, very serious and interesting you would want to do in your business immediately. Now, before we go down into that, I would want to make this remark. Of course, there are several reasons why you may want to do this exact thing we're talking about now. And some of the reasons may be deterioration, maybe the equipment you have currently are already going down, they are not very productive anymore and they need to be replaced, and you're running around to raise funds. I know what that could look like, to be able to replace this equipment and then function optimally. Then you need to do this, and even if you don't do it immediately, in fact you need to do it immediately, but even if you don't, of course, subsequently immediately you acquire the new equipment, then you must take advantage of this discussion we're going to have in this video. Then secondly, it may be that the equipment itself is already outdated. Maybe there are more modern equipment that you need to purchase to replace the old one you already have and also before your operation. Then doing this will be very, very profitable for you. You may also want to do this because you want to expand. You want to get a new outlet or expand your business, and there are equipment you need to purchase. But way beyond this, I think every restaurant owner or manager out there really needs to consider doing this as soon as possible. The idea is to just make provision for every month on writing off the cost you have spent in purchasing all the equipment, and then you could create a separate account for that, where each month you write off your costs on all the equipment you have. You send the money to that account. It helps you to manage your business better. It helps you to respond to emergencies. It helps you to make sure that at each point in time you do not run out of any sensitive equipment you must have for your business to operate optimally. It doesn't matter the size, it could even be cutlery. You should not run out of such equipment. It may be making provision for extra dining for your restaurant to accommodate more people. Then you start looking for money to do some of these things, whereas there were ones you spent money on getting and you don't write them off. And of course, you should also know that these equipment you use in running your restaurant every month contribute to the cost of production. In our previous video, we talked about cost of production, and I told you that there are some costs you incur every day that you do not even know about. This is perfectly one of them, so you need to pay attention to this. Now let us go right straight into it so that you see how you can make provision for returning all the money you have spent ever on any kind of equipment in your restaurant at all. Now, if you are a manager or an owner that really keeps track records of what is going on in your restaurant, I call them managers who know their inventory, because the management of every restaurant is about inventory management first of all, before you talk about other things that make up a productive restaurant. So I call them managers that know their inventory. So if you're a manager or an owner that knows your inventory, doing this will be really simple and exciting for you. Now, for every equipment you have in your restaurant, there are 4 things you need to know on that equipment for you to be able to do this. Number 1 is you need to know the cost of that equipment. You need to know how much you bought that equipment the day you bought it. If you still have the receipts or whatever, you should be able to know how much you purchased that equipment. Then secondly, you need to know the useful life of that equipment. What I mean by useful life is how long is that equipment expected to last. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, assuming you have a refrigerator in your restaurant. maybe 2 or 3 or 4, and you bought them, let's say 10,000, how long are they expected to serve you? Are you expecting that they will serve you for 5 years or 8 years or 10 years? That becomes the useful life of that refrigerator. Then the next thing you need to know is the book value of that refrigerator. What book value is, you will get to understand it in detail while I show you what to do. Is, if for instance in the first month I say, okay, that this refrigerator contributed 150 naira to the cost of production of that month, it means I will go to the 10,000 I bought that refrigerator and remove the 150 naira it contributed in its first month of serving me. Now, whatever is remaining is the book value of that refrigerator. It means in the next month it will serve me, I'll remove how much it contributed that month again. Whatever is remaining is also the book value of that refrigerator. Then the fourth thing or item I must know about that particular equipment, the same thing happens to other equipment, is the scrap value of that equipment. Now, scrap value is after the period of 5 years you said is going to serve you, or the period of 10 years you said is going to serve you. What is the value of that equipment remaining? Assuming you want to now sell it off, what value can it go for? I give you an instance. I have a refrigerator, I bought it 10,000, every month it contributes 200 naira for instance to the cost of production. So each month I remove the 200 and keep it in my equipment account. It means after, let's say 5 years, I would have returned the money I used to purchase that refrigerator in the equipment account, and whatever will be left of the value of that refrigerator, maybe it's now 2,000, and I can get somebody to say, please, I want to sell this refrigerator and put in a new one, and the person can look at the refrigerator and say, okay, fine, I can pay 2,000 for it. That 2,000 naira is the scrap value of that refrigerator. So if you look at all the equipment you use in running your business, and you know these 4 items on each of these equipment, if you don't want to do it on all the equipment, fine and good, but the major equipment used in that restaurant that will always be replaced for you to function better, please, you must do this on each and every one of them. So if you know this data, then do exactly what I'm going to show you right now on each and every one of them, and you can get your money back and be able to purchase a new one whenever and however you need it. Now, this is something really simple that anybody at all can do. If you can't handle it yourself, please give it to your inventory officer to deal with it, so that at the end of every year you should be able to have enough money in your equipment accounts for running your business. Now, I want us to maintain the example I just cited using a refrigerator, because I know it's a common item for every restaurant owner and manager across places. So let us use the refrigerator for our illustration. Now, assuming a refrigerator has these 4 data that we mentioned, maybe you bought it 100,000 and you assume the useful life, let's assume the useful life is 10 years, yeah, 10 years is okay. So 100,000 naira is the cost. The useful life is 10 years. And the scrap value is 10,000. The only data we need to find now is what the book value will always be in the end of every month. So how do we deal with that? We first of all know what that refrigerator contributes to this restaurant every year. You bought it, you are using it for your business, and every single year it has some cost. It goes down, it depreciates. That's the word. It depreciates. So once you are using it and it is depreciating, it will be silly for you not to be able to take into consideration what is going out, the life that is going out of those equipment every year, so that you're able to buy a new one. Now, what we are looking at now is how do you get the annual depreciation from that refrigerator. What you should simply do is to say cost, which is the 100,000, minus the scrap value, because you are looking at that after 10 years you should be able to sell that refrigerator 10,000. Sometimes it will be more depending on how careful you are in managing these equipment. So and you are looking at, okay, in the end of every 10 years I should sell off that refrigerator and it can be sold for 10,000. So just do your cost minus the scrap value, which is the 10,000. Then divide whatever results you have by the useful life of that refrigerator. So the annual depreciation now on every refrigerator that you bought 100,000 in your restaurant and will last 10 years will be cost minus scrap value divided by useful life. Of course, that will give you 100,000 minus 10,000 divided by 10 years. That will give you 9,000 naira. If you are using the exact figures that I'm using for this analysis, it will give you 9,000 naira. So what that means is that in the end of every year, this particular refrigerator you bought 10,000, sorry, you bought 100,000 that you have projected will last for 10 years. Of course, it can if you are a good manager and you have workers also who love you and love the business. They will take care of this equipment very well. So what it means is that in the end of every year, this refrigerator contributes exactly 9,000 naira to your cost of production. Now, how do you know how much it contributes every month? Simply divide your 9,000 naira by 12, which is the number of months in a year. If you divide the 9,000 naira by 12, it may give you, let's say, 750 naira. So it means every single month, this refrigerator, I used 750 out of the money I bought it. So what you should do is, in providing for your financial demands and analysis for the month, you should be able to remove 750 on that particular refrigerator, and you put that in your equipment account every single month. If you don't want to be doing it monthly, it means every single year, in the end of every year, you should provide 9,000 naira as the cost spent on that equipment, and you put that in your equipment account, and you shouldn't be able to touch that. That account should be there specifically for equipment, because equipment is also business for the restaurant space. And sometimes a lot of them damage most of the time, like the cutlery, and most of them damage very easily because we have people trooping in and out, different kinds of people trooping in and out on daily basis. So some of them damage so quickly, and you use the money you have as your profit to always make up for these equipment. So it should not be that way. This is how you can calculate your depreciation for every single equipment, and if you can keep faithful to this, you will notice that in the end of every year, you have made provision for all the equipment that you used that year, the ones that they contributed in running your business for that year. Now, of course, this is a very, very simple way to calculate your depreciation on all your equipment. If, for instance, you use some more complex equipment that don't depreciate uniformly every year, they don't go down uniformly every year, because for this refrigerator, for instance, we assume that it drops, let's say, 10% every year, 10% every year for a period of 10 years. You simply do what we have done. But assuming you have some more complex equipment, maybe like your generator or something that does not depreciate uniformly every year, there are more complex analysis that we can show you on how you can get the amount contributed by that generator or lister or whatever it is to your cost of production every month, so that you're able to remove the money. And again, that equipment account is also used for servicing. I don't know how you run your restaurant, but these are the standards you need to keep for your business to have an eye. That equipment account, of course, is also used for equipment maintenance. These equipments, you use them, so when any of them go bad or goes bad and you need to replace, or you need to repair, or you need to maintain, it is that account that is used for servicing these equipment. The generator, for instance, it is that account that is used for consistent servicing of this equipment to get them back on their feet. So if you have more complex equipment that do not depreciate uniformly, then we will need you to also say that in the comment section, because that will help us to know if we will go to the advanced analysis to show you how you can remove or get the amount that should be removed from each of those equipment every single month or annually, depending on your convenience. Please, your comment is very, very, very much needed in the comment section. And above all, give this video a thumbs up once again, because it will help other restaurant owners and managers across places to be able to get this information and be able to do better in their business. That is our goal, and that is the exact reason why we are taking the stress to push this information out for you. Again, don't forget to hit the subscription button and the notification bell, so that once we push out any information, you will be able to get it and put them in your business.